Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello and welcome to Palace Intrigue. I am your host, Mark Francis. Omid Scobie's Endgame is out today, getting a lot of attention and stirring the headlines. Scobie spoke to The Times and said, "I'm very aware that I'm quite disliked in Britain. The way anything about me is said is if I'm just the absolute worst person. I've really struggled with it. To be honest, I definitely felt at times like I wanted to just disappear." Scobie said he is not friends with Meghan, but he is friends with friends of Meghan. Did Meghan help with the book? Scobie said having mutual friends definitely helps with getting information and breaking details. Scobie delivers a candid portrayal of Prince William, depicting him as a tempestuous and ambitious figure, increasingly inclined to endorse questionable tactics by the palace. However, those close to William contest this depiction, suggesting that such behaviour is incongruous with his character, despite his occasional display of the well-known Windsor temper. Scobie also casts Kate in a less favourable light, suggesting she is an underperformer, too cautious to take bold steps. This characterisation, according to another insider, is likely to irritate Prince William. He's immensely proud of what his wife has achieved. The princess has been the driving force behind a great deal of their work, particularly when it comes to bettering mental health. Scobie has put forth the notion that William gave precedence to his duty towards the monarchy over his relationship with his brother. He asserts that William played a role in leaking information to the press that was detrimental to Harry and Meghan. While Kensington Palace has not responded to these claims, those close to William expressed their dissatisfaction with Scobie's portrayal. A source familiar with William's approach shared with the Mail, "He has always been very tight-lipped when it comes to his family and made clear to anyone within his orbit that he would not do deals with the media." The source also highlighted William's own challenging experiences growing up amidst his parents' public struggles, known as the War of the Waleses. According to them, William was determined to avoid a repeat of such history, a resolve he initially shared with Harry. Another individual weighed in on the matter, distinguishing between the constructive criticism of the royal family and the propagation of unsubstantiated theories. They refuted the claims of negative briefings against Harry and Meghan, emphasizing the truth is that everyone was walking on eggshells practically from the engagement, trying to keep them happy. Endgame also includes critical remarks about Kate, suggesting she has received acclaim for small achievements that might have been overlooked if accomplished by other members of the royal family. Scobie told the Sunday Times, "We infantilize Kate massively, so the bar is always lower, portraying her as someone fearful of engaging in more than just smiling photo opportunities." In a related narrative, a serialization in French magazine Paris Match cites a close friend of the couple claiming Kate focused more on discussing Meghan than actually interacting with her before their fallout. This source states that Kate and Meghan haven't directly communicated since late 2019, with Kate reportedly reacting with discomfort and laughter upon hearing about Meghan. Endgame also reveals that the Wales apparently found the South Park episode about the Prince of Canada to be amusing. In a section of his book, featured in Paris Match, Scobie recounts a dialogue between Prince Harry and his father following the release of Harry's book Spare earlier this year. According to a source, the king desired to keep their conversation benign, aiming for a harmless exchange. Further elaborating, the source disclosed, concerning Harry, the message that circulated in the family was not to trust him. Everyone took it very seriously. Sources close to the situation have asserted that several of Scobie's allegations are inaccurate and merely reiterations of old claims, addressing Scobie's assertion about King Charles being detached and insisting on having his shoelaces ironed. An insider dismissed it emphatically, stating that was total bull when it first surfaced 20 years ago and still is now. According to the book, Meghan never wants to set foot again in England, feeling out of place there. Despite this, the Sussexes continue to share updates about their family life with King Charles, including sending photos of their children, maintaining a connection despite the distance. Regarding Harry and Meghan's eviction from Frogmore Cottage, the book reveals Harry, upon learning of the eviction, questioned his father, asking, "You don't want to see your grandchildren anymore?" The book also mentions that despite the ongoing rift, the families exchanged Christmas gifts for their children. However, there was no further communication between them during the holiday season. More Palace Intrigue in just a moment. The New York Times gave Endgame an unenthusiastic review. They write, "Early on in Endgame, the journalist and royal commentator Omid Scobie makes an enticing promise. In the past, I, like others, have held back on revealing some of the darker truths at the heart of the institution of the British monarchy," he writes. "Part of this book will burn my bridges for good, but to tell the full story, there's no holding back. Not anymore. We're in the endgame." However, readers hoping for a final death blow of gossip will be disappointed. We've heard much of it before, from Fergie, from Diana, from Charles, from Harry again. Whether or not Scobie actively collaborated with Meghan and Harry for this book, he does them no favours. Their chapter reads like a press release cooked up by ChatGPT and does little to shed light on them as humans. Endgame is anticipated to attribute the growing rift between Princes William and Harry to Simon Case, the embattled cabinet secretary. Case, currently on medical leave from his role as the UK's top civil servant, is reportedly bracing for accusations in the book that he deliberately spread negative stories about Harry during his tenure as Prince William's private secretary. Endgame is expected to claim that Case sought to influence public perception by leaking stories such as Harry and Meghan's use of private jets, contrasting with William and Kate's preference for budget airlines. This narrative supposedly aimed to cast William as the dutiful heir and Harry as the irresponsible spare. In his memoir, Spare, Prince Harry nicknamed 3 top palace advisors, including Case, Sir Edward Young, and Clive Alderton, as the bee, the wasp, and the fly. He described them as power-consolidating middle-aged white men, with the fly particularly drawn to the less savoury aspects of government and media. And there you have it. If you'd like to email us, our address is thepalaceintrigue@gmail.com. Please follow us on Apple or Spotify or your app of choice. And if you're on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps. I'm Mark Francis. My thanks to John McDermott. This is Palace Intrigue, and good times.